Thank you for joining Trivia Quiz Rush. My name is Arno, I am your mispronouncing quiz host, and this is a general knowledge quiz that features lightning questions. The questions have mixed difficulty and you only have 3 seconds to answer them. See if you can beat the quiz challenge, and let's start the quiz. Good luck! What color are Granny Smith apples typically known for? It's green. If you hear double bogey, which activity are you likely doing? Playing golf. How many muscles are there in each human finger? Correct with none. Which of these animals is well known for playing dead when threatened? That's hognose snake. Which famous baseball player was married to Marilyn Monroe? Joe DiMaggio. Which group famously performed the disco hit song YMCA? It's the Village People. Magenta is a shade of what color? That's pink. From which language does the word ukulele originally come? Hawaiian. Which Japanese car manufacturer is the largest worldwide today? That's Toyota. Which diamond color is considered the rarest? Red. Which major historical event took place during the year 1912? Sinking of the Titanic. What is the official chemical symbol used to represent gold? AU. Which hormone is mainly responsible for controlling metabolism? Correct with thyroxine. What is the original meaning of the ancient term pharaoh? That's great house. What is the well-known nickname given to the state of Alaska? The Last Frontier. Which French painter created the artwork Impression Sunrise? It's Claude Monet. Which invention did Thomas Edison patent before his others? Electric vote recorder. What slang term describes a person who sells stolen goods? Fence. Which car part ignites the fuel-air mix inside an engine? That's spark plug. In which European country was the car brand Porsche founded? Germany. What is the title of the first Harry Potter book by Rowling? The Philosopher's Stone. In beer brewing, what does the abbreviation IPA stand for? India Pale Ale. What is the correct square root value of the number 144? 12. Who both wrote and illustrated the Peanuts comic strip series? Correct with Charles M. Schulz. Which of these cocktails is mainly made using rum as base spirit? That's piña colada. Which athlete holds the record for the most Olympic medals ever won? Michael Phelps. What is the human voice box more commonly known as in anatomy? It's larynx. What does the abbreviation LAN stand for in computing terminology? Local Area Network. In which country did the Day of the Dead tradition first originate? That's Mexico. Who is the professor character in the board game Cluedo? Plum. Which planet is the largest one within our solar system? It's Jupiter. Which mineral is widely known by the nickname Fool's Gold? That's pyrite. How many players per team are on the field in standard rugby union? 15. Which professional field commonly uses the tilt-shift technique? Photography. What is the correct term used for a female sheep? That's you. Who painted the famous artwork titled The Birth of Venus? Correct with Botticelli. Survivors of the Titanic were rescued by which nearby ship? That's the Carpathia. Which company produces the well-known Galaxy smartphones line? Samsung. Which planet in our system has the most complex ring system? It's Saturn. What is the term for an angle measuring exactly 180 degrees? That's straight angle. Which of these organs is located inside the thoracic cavity? The lungs. What film currently holds the record as the highest grossing ever? That's Avatar. What is the term for inability to get enough quality sleep? Insomnia. Which country ran the first Royal Flying Doctor Service flight in 1928? It's Australia. In which country did the sport of ice hockey first originate? Canada. How many pints are equal to 1 gallon? Correct with 8. What is the process of mixing metals together to form a new one called? That's alloying. What is the medical term for inflammation of the appendix? Appendicitis. What is molten rock called when it remains beneath Earth's surface? It's magma. Which root vegetable was originally purple before being bred orange? That's carrot. How many days occur in a standard leap year? 366. Which of these animals is naturally found in the Amazon rainforest? It's jaguar. What is the outermost boundary layer of a biological cell called? Cell membrane. Which animal is officially recognized as the national symbol of Australia? Correct with kangaroo. Which hat is traditionally worn by British guardsmen on duty? That is a bearskin hat. In American football, how many points is a touchdown worth? 6. Who performed the famous disco hit song I Will Survive? It's Gloria Gaynor. What is the light-sensitive layer at the back of the eye called? That's retina. What is the dwarf planet reclassified from full planet status in 2006? Pluto. What does the acronym FTP stand for in computing and networking? That's File Transfer Protocol. Which sport traditionally prohibits players from playing left-handed? Polo. Which country is best known as the origin of the dish goulash? Hungary. What is the correct chemical symbol used to represent hydrogen? That's H. Which country did Iraq invade in 1990, starting the Gulf War? Correct, with Kuwait. In which country was the philosopher Socrates originally born? That's Greece. Who painted the iconic artwork The Girl with a Pearl Earring? Johannes Vermeer. Which artist painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel? Michelangelo. In which city is the Wimbledon tennis tournament played each year? London. Who composed the well-known piano piece titled Für Elise? Ludwig van Beethoven. Which common kitchen appliance was accidentally invented by Percy Spencer? Microwave. Which animal is considered the most dangerous worldwide to humans? Mosquito. Which volcano is considered the largest on Earth by volume? Mauna Loa. Which Roman emperor reportedly played music while Rome burned? Nero. Which scientific field studies oceans, currents, and marine systems? Oceanography. Which US state contains the highest number of national parks? California. When did the long-standing Cold War officially end? 1991. In which city is the Nobel Peace Prize awarded annually? Correct, with Oslo. Who is one of the co-founders of the Cubism art movement? That's Pablo Picasso. What is the most commonly spoken language in Bolivia today? Spanish. Who directed the critically acclaimed film Pulp Fiction? That's Quentin Tarantino. What biological class does a toad belong to in taxonomy? Amphibian. Which reindeer is famous for having a shiny red nose? Rudolph. Which internet browser was originally developed by Google? Google Chrome. Who wrote the lyrics to the US anthem, The Star-Spangled Banner? Correct, with Francis Scott Key. What is the first book title in the Lord of the Rings trilogy? The Fellowship of the Ring. How much daily physical activity is recommended for teenagers? 60 minutes. How many total seconds are there in a duration of 10 minutes? 600 seconds. Which animal is the official symbol of the American Democratic Party? A donkey. Which continent is considered the native origin of pineapples? South America. Who played the character Tony Montana in the film Scarface? That's Al Pacino. Which prison nicknamed The Rock held many notorious criminals? Alcatraz. Which unit is used to measure electrical power in physics? Watt. Which airline is the oldest still operating under its original name? That's KLM. What animal is officially recognized as Canada's national symbol? Beaver. What is the capital city of South Korea? Seoul. What is the scientific study of fungi called in biology? Mycology. What is Charlie's surname in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Bucket. Which of the following foods is considered a whole grain option? Brown rice. What car model was Kit in the TV show Knight Rider? Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Which was the first space shuttle ever launched into orbit? Columbia. Who is the author of the novel The Adventures of Tom Sawyer? It's Mark Twain. What document is considered the supreme law of the United States? Constitution. Which music genre originated in African American New Orleans? Correct, with jazz. Which song begins with the line 9 o'clock on a Saturday? Piano Man by Billy Joel. In tennis, what term is used for a tied score of 40-40? Deuce. What is the basic unit of heredity in living organisms? It's gene. What term describes a substance made of only one type of atom? That's element. Which currency is used in Finland? Euro. Which Middle Eastern dish features ground meat grilled on skewers? That's kebab. Which of these is primarily responsible for spreading Lyme disease? That is a tick. What is the origin meaning behind the word quarantine? Italian for 40 days. Which of these tournaments is not considered a Grand Slam event? Miami Open. Which company is responsible for developing the Pixel smartphone? Correct, with Google. What nickname is commonly used for the US $20 bill? That's Jackson. What is the official language spoken across most of China? Mandarin. Who was Germany's chancellor during the reunification period? Helmut Kohl. What phobia describes an abnormal fear of dogs? Xenophobia. What was the middle name of the singer Elvis Presley? Aaron. Which Hindu festival celebrates light triumphing over darkness? Diwali. What is the medical term used to describe high blood pressure? Hypertension. Which country was Leonardo da Vinci born in? Italy. Which telescope launched in 2021 is built to study the early universe? James Webb. Who married Welsh actress Catherine Zeta-Jones in the year 2000? Michael Douglas. Which artist created the iconic painting known as The Scream? Edvard Munch. Who is the author of the book Alice's Adventures in Wonderland? Lewis Carroll. Which type of stone was mainly used to build the pyramids of Giza? Limestone. In which city did the famous band The Beatles originally form? Liverpool. Which composer wrote many symphonies despite being completely deaf? Ludwig van Beethoven. What part of a record player holds the stylus in place? Tone arm. What is the medical term for inflammation of the tonsils? Tonsillitis. In Italian cooking, what does the term al dente describe? Perfectly cooked pasta with a firm bite. What was the earliest known version of the card game blackjack? That's answer B. What is another common term used for egg white in cooking? Albumin. Which major war began in the year 1914? World War I. Who holds the world record for the fastest 100-meter sprint? Usain Bolt. How old was Mary Shelley when she wrote the novel Frankenstein? 18. In which year was the very first global website launched online? 1991. What was the first name of the Wax Museum founder, Madame Tussauds? Marie. Which pyramid stayed the tallest human-made structure for 3,800 years? Khufu. Limestone is classified as which type of rock in geology? Sedimentary. Which boxer was widely known by the nickname The Greatest? Muhammad Ali. On which planet are conditions believed to produce diamond rain? Neptune. Which tennis player holds the record for most French Open titles? Rafael Nadal. Who painted the surreal artwork The Persistence of Memory? Salvador Dalí. Which fruit from the rose family can float due to air content? Apple. Who painted the powerful anti-war artwork titled Guernica? Pablo Picasso. Which flavor is typically included in a classic piña colada cocktail? Pineapple. Who served as Pope between 1978 and 2005? Pope John Paul II. What color is the gemstone known as an emerald? Green. What is the correct medical term used for the kneecap? Patella. I have a fun bonus question for you, but before that, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's completely free, but helps the channel grow. It also informs you when my next quiz is out. If you really want to support the channel, then consider becoming a member. And here is the bonus question. An Allen key or wrench has how many sides? Sit tight because the answer appears in a few seconds. Don't forget to like and leave a comment. I read every one of them. And if you want to keep watching fun lightning quizzes, then click this quiz to continue. I hope to see you in the next quiz. Bye bye.